Hey, good day, folks. Hope you're doing well. Waiting for the software to kind of catch up with what's going on here. Uh, as most of you know, Nene's court started yesterday. It was around 9 o'clock when they started doing the jury selection. That went on till around lunch. And then they started the trial in the afternoon around 1 or so, 1:15. And the government, state of Kansas, or whatever the heck it is, did their presentation. Um, Excuse me, I'm just trying to clean up a couple things here so I can see on the system. So anyway, Renee was standing tall on all of that. He pushed them all the way till 5 o'clock. Um, and then they're scheduled to go back in this morning. And they side, the defense is going to present their case. So that was the latest update as of yesterday. Hey, Tony, Diane, good to see you guys. We got some news coming up shortly. Don't know when it will be. We are hoping that we will hear from Nene. The topic I want to put out there right now for all of us, and think of Nene and all people so similarly situated, which is exactly what he's been standing up for. What happens when you're forced to the edge? What decisions are you forced to make, coerced do I make, or do you voluntarily make? I want to present and propose that none of this stuff that Nene has been forced to go through, nor the people in Oregon and Nevada and Colorado for that matter, probably most of that, none of it, I would venture to say, has been lawful. Lawful means within the constraints and confines of the governments, independent of federal, state, city, or county, the constraints put on them by the Constitution. Now, they will claim and enforce upon you statutes which are only color of law. And that does not make them lawful. And most times it's not even legal by their own standards. But anyway, when you're forced to the edge, what are you going to do? Just like a dog, you corner it which I did one day. Dog came up on my deck way upstairs and out overlooking at the ocean. Hey, thank you for the thumbs up. It helps us all the time, man. And we're just standing strong with an A and all of us. But once you corner a dog, dude either had to jump off 10 feet, which no way he wanted to do that, or he going to turn around and bite my little dumb hiney. But anyway, that's what the way it goes. So sometimes we all have to make those decisions, and sometimes we jump, and everything comes out all right. But what it is, you got to face your fear. And this is what these corrupt societies and these entities do. They bring and a lot of people, I think, correctly say it. Thank you. You're talking about evil. And I was never a big believer in evil or all that stuff, but yeah, I've seen some in my life, and I have to acknowledge that that's it. And I think reading the Divine Principle years ago, it wasn't basically what it says is the definition of evil is the absence of God. And Nene certainly has been standing spiritually in his faith, as we all have, as I do every single freaking day. And that does not require or necessitate the participation of the opinion of a legal entity that doesn't even actually exist. That's when, like Donald Trump says, he wants the people to lead. Well, that's exactly what we are doing. And by leading, you're standing within your spirit, within your conscience. It's what our founding fathers talked about. Let your conscience, let your spirit be your guide. And even when you go to the law, it says that it's not only a violation, the courts or a elected official or actor violate the letter of the law, it also includes when they violate the spirit of the law. And so anyway, we hope and look forward to at least hearing from the Nate a little bit later this morning. So I'm hanging out, and he's number one on our list. He's been standing for each and every one of us, our rights, our liberties, for those of the two-leggeds, which they wish to be called, our native brothers and sisters, the two-leggeds, and they're standing for them and for all of us as well. Hey, Tony, good to see you. Yeah, Diane, Trump is a work in progress, and we all are. Me, I'm probably just an accident in progress, but that's a totally different story. And you get to vote on that probably, but your opinion does not count. So anyway, I think we're going to have some news here shortly. I don't want to put too much out there. We hope to, and it is intended we'll at least be able to hear from Nene. And Lawrence will be on with me at minimum. And we will have 2 face-to-face video for you. So I just jumped on the computer to get this news out. And I think when Lawrence said when he gets back to the hotel, he will call in. So I had to cancel a few things for this morning and today because this is number one list to do. So Diane, thank you. No, he's part of Christ's soldiers. Yeah, and we all are, and that's the way I was raised. Song in church, onward Christian soldiers. And as we stand with our rights, sovereign American, the definition on the website, we are a faith-based community of a self-governing people. Once you decide to self-govern and you exercise not only your right, but your duty, so stated in the Declaration of Independence, where you have thrown off a despotic government or entity, and why would you do that? Like it says, in order to once again secure your liberty and your privacy and your property, which all have been taken away from each and every one of us at this point in time. And as their statutes, which do not apply to the people, you never ever see a reference to the people. It's always to a person. And more people are starting to understand that. So anyway, I won't go on too much on it. I'm not going to put that out there, Diane. You have. I'll let you roll with that one. Y'all have to read the comments. Oh, something I do want to put on here. Thank you for not reminding me because you didn't know to. But there is an article right here this morning on Nene. And let me double check because I guess it's just the front page. And I haven't even read it. It says trial begins for a man who claims to be sovereign of Lakota Nation, which is exactly correct. And not only that, he claims to be a sovereign individual and man, amongst all of us on behalf of himself and all people so similarly situated, especially those of native nations. And just a little caveat here, they're talking about Lakota Nation. I'm not sure that is exactly correct because Nene is Dene, which is a clan, I understand, and a branch of the Navajo. Not that I would know big one way or another, and not that this writer did an excellent job. I haven't read the article yet because I want to get this news out there that we are going to try to broadcast and hopefully have Nene at least on by voice or something. maybe we'll get a pleasant surprise. But thank you all for tuning in, and I'll just glance over here, see if there are any questions or anything. Uh, Angelina, I can't read with these glasses on. Bye 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 bye. Cherokee Nation, Diane. Okay, you may know more than I do. Uh, no, you're incorrect there, excuse me, and Evangelia. I apologize. I have dyslexia real bad. I always have. But anyway, it's not a Joe Emerson. And I think we may learn something about that. It is Nene. Nene is not a state national. Uh, he is not a citizen, a creation of the state. He is, as the definition of citizen goes, citizen states that you are a willful subject of the state. And that is not Nene. That is not me. And that may not be you at some point if you so choose. Not Sussex. Dene, you're correct. Not Sussex. He's Navajo, which I understand is probably a portion of the Dene is Navajo in part, but I think maybe a different branch or something. I don't know why they call it Dene rather than Navajo, but there is a difference there. Nene means lightning. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that information there. American National from Massachusetts Republic here. Hey, Tony, bless you guys. But hey, and thank y'all for coming on and supporting Nene. He's been standing for each and every one of you and us for close to about 8 months now, and I'll just say Kansas hell. All right. Now, does that mean Kansas jail, Kansas hell, whatever, up to your interpretation? Um, yeah, you're right. No elders were helping him. Why? I do not know. I did my part. I got hold of a couple of people, other members, and I say members, don't really mean that literally, but other people interested in what Nene was standing for and the rights and sovereignty of the individual. We're trying to get natives, two-leggeds, to stand with Nene as well. But yeah, you're very correct. No elders, as far as we know at this point, and they may have some more news for us. But as far as we know, no elders have really stood up with him, and very few two-leggeds as far as that goes. Get info about him. No native elders help him. That's true. He is well versed in treaty. He can beat them. I totally agree, Tony. Uh, he has beaten them in a lot of ways. And that brings me to a couple other points I want to bring out. When you are pushed to the edge, as Nene surely has been and will be, he has already retained all of his rights. He has already identified that he is a sovereign. So, for example, should the state of Kansas or any other legal entity continue against him, surely it's only by statute, because there is no constitutional limitation granted to any legal fiction entity to move against one of the people or a sovereign individual or a sovereign people, individually or collectively. So no matter what agreements, whether they're written, whether they're verbal, it's all under coercion, threat, and force. Um, and you only need to have declared, and he has decreed and declared this sovereignty a long time ago. And the law states that once you have declared whatever it is, when a government or an entity moves against that declaration, they are in violation of the law and they are liable. At that point, it matters not what they put before you, what they force you into, what you sign, what you state that is in violation of what you're standing for in the spirit and written letter of the law. I'm not talking about color of law statutes, but all is in violation, and each and every individual who has participated knowingly or unknowingly via constructive notice are liable and responsible to the full extent of the law. So I want to put that out there before we hear any more else from or about Nene. This has been established, way before he even went into jail or got stopped in Kansas. So, hey, Tony, we'll wave to everybody. And thanks for the thumbs up. This is one of the more critical, well, it's the most critical court case going on, and for the rights of the people, it's the only strongest case that's been out there for decades at this point. And Nene's been standing well, and I'm sure he still is. And again, before I close up, it does not matter what the state of Kansas puts before him, whether he is set free by the jury. The jury's a different issue. If they put, and they surely, like they do with everyone, hey, what a deal we have for you today. If you sign on the dotted line, you get a jail out of free kind of card as long as you wear the collar around the neck, the ring through your nose, whatever it be, which is totally unlawful, constitutional. It's illegal by statutes, codes, rules, and regulations. And it's a violation of all natural and unalienable rights. I just got out of jail a week ago after asserting my rights. Hey, Tony, well, thank you and bless you, bud. Thank you for standing. I hope getting out of jail was because you were standing, and hopefully you were made some successful progress on behalf of yourself and all people so similarly situated. And what I've been telling people for well over a decade at this point is everything that I've done at the United Nations and elsewhere, I have done on behalf, and I've put it in writing, on behalf of myself and all people, not just Americans, but all people so similarly situated, because that includes all of mankind. That's why I do it. So love to all. We'll go ahead and sign off here. There should be some kind of really good and exciting or big news coming up shortly, and we just wait for that. Sovereignty is for the good people who want to live free, together as one, not as selfish. And you're totally right, Evangelia. And I apologize if my tongue stumbles, and I know you understand. We stand together as one, not for selfish use. Big fraud he is. Yeah, you're totally correct. State of Kansas, nothing but a fraud, as are most legal entities and government authorities. And again, where do they get their authority? Where do they get their rights and their powers and presumptions of authority? It has to come from you individually first. And once you exercise that Ninth Amendment where you have retained all rights, see right here, why did we put it on the cap? The Ninth Amendment. And the next one down, the 10th Amendment. Reserved all powers. They pre-existed government, guys. I mean, what more do we need to say? And that's why we have the crown. Remembering, you only rule yourself, but you are the king of you. And I don't care what judge you go to or anything else. Then I was talking to this guy who was a Mason the other day, and he goes, all right, looking to the east and all this other stuff, which is fine and good. But I pointed to the hat and said, once you realize and you get to the 78th degree, you understand this is it. It is all you, always has been, always will be. It is not a legal entity created by words on paper. It is created, well, it's not even created. It exists by your own spirit. I think we got things going. I'm going to rush. Okay, I heard the phone going, but anyway, I'm going to sign off. So when they call in, I'm on the right phone, guys. Love you, bless you all. Stay tuned. We'll yippee skippy through the day and into the weekend. Love to all. Tons of blessings. Later. Aho.